A diamond in the rough, a love story that defies expectations. Subscribe to our channel, like this video, leave your comments below. The old bus coughed out black smoke like a tired dragon. Selena stepped off, her 5-year-old daughter, Lily, asleep in her arms, feeling the weight of the little girl's years and her own 28, burdened with responsibility. Lily breathed softly against her neck, oblivious to the world her mother faced every day, like a warrior without armor. The pavement gleamed wetly under the neon lights. Selena walked towards her apartment building when something caught her eye. A sleek black leather bag, elegant like a whispered promise, abandoned by the bus stop. "Did someone lose something again?" she murmured, looking around. No one. Only the wind chasing papers like urban ghosts. She carefully bent down, adjusting Lily in her left arm. The bag felt heavier than expected. As she opened it, her eyes widened like saucers. Jewels that seemed to have come from a fairy tale. Pearl necklaces glowing like moon tears. Diamond earrings reflecting the streetlights like tiny suns. "My goodness," she whispered. In the side compartment, she found a business card. Ethan Vance, CEO, Vance Corp. The address made her swallow. It was the city's most exclusive business district, where buildings touched the sky like giants' fingers. Lily stirred in her arms. "Mommy, are we there yet?" "Yes, my love, we're here." But as she climbed the stairs of her modest building, Selena couldn't stop thinking about those jewels. Someone was looking for them, desperately, and that someone had a name. The next morning, after dropping Lily off at school, Selena stood in front of her small bathroom mirror. She wore her best white blouse, saved for special occasions, and black pants that made her feel confident. "You're going to return that bag, and that's it," she told her reflection. Period. Vance Corp rose like a cathedral of glass and steel. Selena looked up until she lost herself in its height, a knot forming in her stomach. People entering and exiting wore suits that cost more than her 3-month salary. At the reception, a blonde woman with a plastic smile looked her up and down. "How may I help you?" "I need to see Mr. Ethan Vance." The receptionist arched a perfectly sculpted eyebrow. "Do you have an appointment?" "No, but it's urgent. I found something that belongs to him." "I'm sorry, but Mr. Vance doesn't see anyone without an appointment. You can leave whatever it is with us." Selena felt a fire rise in her chest. She had come all this way, lost half a day's work, and this woman treated her as if she were invisible. "Look, miss," she read the golden nameplate. "Brenda, I came from across the city to return something very valuable. Either you let me see him now, or I'll leave, and he can find it himself." Brenda blinked, surprised by the firmness in Selena's voice. "Wait here." 5 minutes later, Brenda returned with a bewildered expression. "He says you can go up. Floor 25. The elevator ascended like a silver rocket. Selena felt her ears pop as the city shrank through the glass. When the doors opened, a white marble hallway welcomed her like an invitation to heaven. Ethan Vance's office was larger than her entire apartment. Huge windows showcased the city spread out like a living map. But what truly caught her attention was the man sitting behind the mahogany desk. His head was in his hands, fingers buried in midnight black hair. He wore a wrinkled white shirt, his tie loosened like a flag of surrender. He looked like a dethroned king, handsome and devastated. "Mr. Vance!" He looked up, and Selena felt the air escape her lungs. He had coffee-colored eyes, but not just any coffee. The kind from Sunday mornings, warm and comforting. His face showed lines of fatigue, but also a beauty that needed no showing off. "You must be," he began to say, but stopped when he saw the bag in Selena's hands. "Selena Hayes, I found this last night." Ethan jumped up so quickly that his chair rolled backward. He was tall, taller than he seemed sitting, and as he walked towards her, Selina noticed he limped slightly. My God, where did you find it? At the bus stop in Redwood Borough. He took the bag with trembling hands. He opened it, and his eyes filled with something that seemed like relief and pain mixed. They were my mother's, he said, his voice hoarse. She passed away 6 months ago, and these jewels are all I have left of her. Yesterday, I had them appraised for insurance, and I thought I'd lost them forever. Selina felt a knot in her throat. The desperation in his voice was real, raw as an open wound. I'm glad they're back with you. Ethan then truly looked at her. His eyes scanned her face, as if he were memorizing every detail. The curve of her lips, the determined gleam in her dark eyes, the way she held herself upright, despite clearly being out of her element. Why did you do it? He asked suddenly. Do what? Return them. Anyone else would have sold them. Selina straightened, feeling a spark of indignation. Why? Because they're not mine, and because... She paused, searching for the right words. Because I understand what it's like to lose a mother. Ethan fell silent, studying her with an intensity that made her feel like a book he was trying to read in a foreign language. How can I thank you? It's not necessary. Just take care of them. Selina turned to leave, but his voice stopped her. Wait. She turned slowly. Ethan had come closer, so close she could smell his cologne, wood and lemon, like a forest after rain. Let me invite you to dinner. It's not necessary, Mr. Vance. Ethan, and yes, it is necessary. His smile was shy, as if he wasn't used to smiling. I'm not used to honesty, especially when it comes so suddenly. Selina felt butterflies flutter in her stomach. There was something in the way he looked at her, as if she were the first real person he'd seen in a long time. I have a daughter, she said suddenly, as if that were a warning. Even better, he replied, and his smile widened. Children always tell the truth. Silence stretched between them like an invisible bridge. Selina could feel her own heart pounding against her ribs. What was happening here? Why was this man looking at her as if she were a miracle? Tomorrow at 8, he finally said. But I choose the place. Ethan nodded, his eyes gleaming as if he'd just won a bet he didn't know he'd made. Perfect. A dinner of discovery and dreams. The restaurant, the Sky Perch, floated on the 32nd floor like a garden suspended among the stars. Selina arrived 5 minutes late, not out of discourtesy, but because she had stood on the sidewalk for 10 minutes, breathing deeply and reminding herself that she was as valid as anyone dining there. The tables gleamed under golden lights that seemed to capture fragments of sunset. Diners spoke in elegant whispers, as if in a library of expensive secrets. Ethan was already waiting, dressed in a gray sweater that made his eyes look like calm storms. He stood when he saw her arrive, and Selina noticed he'd chosen a window table where the city stretched out like a diamond necklace. I thought you'd changed your mind, he said, pulling out her chair. I almost did. Selina sat, feeling the softness of the velvet against her back. Is this place too much? Different. Ethan smiled, and it was like seeing the sun appear after cloudy days. My assistant recommended this place. She says it impresses the ladies. And does it work? You're the first lady I've brought here. Selina raised an eyebrow, studying his face. He didn't seem to be lying. Really? Really? Ethan fidgeted with his napkin. After my mother died, I stopped going out. I stopped doing a lot of things, actually. A silent waiter appeared, leaving menus that looked like leather-bound novels. What do you recommend? Selina asked, subtly swallowing at the prices. Everything is delicious here, the waiter replied with a French accent. Perhaps the salmon with champagne sauce or the lamb with herbes de Provence. Selina closed the menu decisively. Do you have tacos? The waiter blinked as if she had spoken in Martian. Excuse me, madam, but I'm kidding. Selina laughed, and the sound filled the space between them like music. But seriously, what do you recommend? She asked Ethan. The white truffle pasta. It's simple, but perfect. Perfect. And he knows the menu better than I do, she told the waiter, who retreated with a bewildered expression. You're refreshing, Ethan said when they were alone. Is that your elegant way of saying weird? It's my clumsy way of saying you make me feel like I can breathe again. The air between them thickened, charged with something neither of them knew how to name. Tell me about your daughter, he said, changing the subject before the silence became too intense. Selina's eyes lit up like lit candles. Lily is 5, and she believes she can fly if she jumps high enough from the couch. Every morning she asks me why the sky is blue, and every night she invents a new answer before I can explain it to her. And her father? He left when he found out I was pregnant. He said he had more important dreams than diapers. Selina shrugged, but Ethan saw the shadow cross her eyes. Her loss. Definitely. The wine arrived, red as royal blood, and Ethan poured the glasses with steady hands. And you? Did you never want to start a family? Selina asked. I was engaged 3 years ago. Clara. His voice flattened, as if he were reading the newspaper. We broke up when I discovered she saw me more as a project than a person. A project. She wanted to change me. My way of dressing. My friends. Even the way I laughed. She said she could turn me into the perfect man. Ethan took a sip of wine. The problem is, I didn't want to be perfect. I just wanted to be me. And who are you? The question caught him off guard. He remained silent for so long that Selina thought he wouldn't answer. I don't know, he finally admitted. After Mom died, I feel like an actor who forgot his lines. What was she like? A primary school teacher for 40 years. She could turn a troubled child into a poet with just a smile and a lot of patience. His eyes softened. She taught me that kindness isn't weakness, that honesty is a luxury few can afford. She sounds extraordinary. She was, and she would have adored meeting you. The words floated between them like slowly falling petals. Selina felt something stir in her chest, something she had kept closed for a long time. I lost my mother too, she said softly. Cancer, when Lily was 2. She always said dreams don't have an expiration date. You just need the courage to pursue them. What's your dream? To teach at a university. Education. I want to help train teachers who change lives, like your mother. Selina fiddled with her glass. I'm studying at night after Lily goes to sleep. 3 more years, and I can apply for the master's program. 3 years. Money doesn't grow on trees in my neighborhood. Ethan studied her with an expression she couldn't decipher. There was admiration there, but also something deeper. My mother used to say the strongest people are those who smile while they fight. Your mother was very wise. You remind me of her. The pasta arrived, steaming, perfect as he had promised. They ate in comfortable silence, interrupted only by comments about the food and increasingly personal questions about their lives. Can I ask you a personal question? Ethan said when they finished. Shoot. Why did you agree to come? Selina took her time to respond, twirling her wine glass between her fingers. Because when you looked at me this morning, I didn't see pity. You didn't see a poor woman returning something valuable out of desperation. You saw me. Because that's exactly what you are. The waiter discreetly approached with the bill, but Ethan already had his card ready. Next dinner is on me, Selina said firmly. Next? If you want a next time. I want every next time you'll allow me. They left the restaurant when the city was fully lit. Ethan insisted on driving her home and now navigated his silver car through streets that gradually became less elegant. "You don't have to walk me all the way to my building," Selena said when they stopped. "My parents taught me that a gentleman always escorts a lady to her door, even if the door is on the 5th floor and the elevator doesn't work." Especially then. They climbed the stairs slowly, their footsteps echoing in the stairwell. When they reached Selena's apartment, she fumbled for her keys in her bag, aware that he was standing very close. "Thanks for dinner," she said, turning to him. "And for the conversation. I haven't talked this much in a long time. Thanks for reminding me what it feels like to be alive." Ethan raised his hand and gently took hers. His fingers were warm, calloused at the tips in a way that surprised her. "I want to see you again, but I don't know if I have the right." A Saturday surprise and unspoken fears. A week later, Selena heard the doorbell while preparing Lily's breakfast. It was 7 a.m. on a Saturday, a time when the only visitors were usually street vendors or neighbors asking to borrow sugar. She opened the door and found Ethan, carrying a cardboard box that seemed heavier than him. He wore worn jeans and a green t-shirt that gave him a completely different air than the executive she had known. "Good morning," he said with a shy smile. "I hope I'm not too early." "Ethan, what are you doing here? I brought something for you." Lily ran in from the kitchen, cereal stuck to her cheeks and curiosity shining in her big eyes. "Mommy, who is he?" "He's a friend," Selena replied, feeling warmth rise to her neck. "I'm Ethan," he introduced himself, crouching down to the girl's height. "And you must be Lily. How do you know my name?" "Your mom told me about you. She says you're very smart." Lily puffed out her chest with pride like a tiny peacock. "I can add up to 100, and I can write my full name." "Impressive. Can you show me after breakfast?" The girl was excited and ran back to the kitchen. "Come in," Selena said, stepping aside. "But you'll have to forgive the mess." Ethan entered the small apartment, his eyes scanning the living room that also served as a dining area and study space. The furniture was simple but lovingly arranged. Photos of Lily filled the walls like small suns, and books were piled on every available surface. "It's cozy," he said sincerely. "It's tiny," Selena corrected. "It's not a home." He placed the box on the dining table with ceremonial care. "What is this?" "Open it." Selena lifted the flaps, and her breath caught. Inside were books, dozens of them. Pedagogy manuals, educational theories, philosophy of teaching. Some looked new. Others had notes in the margins written in careful handwriting. "Ethan, I can't accept this. They were my mother's. They're wasting away in my office when they could be helping you." Selena picked up one of the volumes, feeling the familiar weight of knowledge in her hands. "Constructivist Teaching Methods," the cover read. "This must be worth a fortune." "It's worth more in your hands than stored in boxes. But, besides," he interrupted with a mischievous smile, "there's something else." From the bottom of the box, he pulled out a manila envelope. Inside were registration forms and a check. "It's for the Pedagogical Update course at Central University. It starts next month." Selena felt her legs tremble. She sat heavily in a chair. "I can't accept this." "Why not?" "Because," she searched for the right words, but they all sounded inadequate. "Because I don't owe you anything. Because we barely know each other. Because this is too much." Ethan sat across from her, taking her hands in his. "It's not about debt. It's about investment." "Investment in what?" "In the future. In you. In what you can become." "And what do you expect in return?" "That you use these books. That you take that course. That you become the extraordinary teacher you already are inside." Lily returned to the living room, now dressed in a pink tutu over her pajama bottoms. "Mommy, look, I'm a scientist ballerina." "Beautiful," Selena said automatically, but her eyes remained fixed on Ethan. "Is he staying for breakfast?" Lily asked. I'd love to," Ethan replied, before Selena could protest. They had scrambled eggs and toast, while Lily meticulously explained why scientist ballerinas were superior to regular ballerinas. Ethan listened with genuine attention, asking questions that made her glow with happiness. "You know what?" Lily said suddenly. "I like you. I like you too. Are you going to be my mommy's boyfriend?" Selena almost choked on her coffee. "Lily!" "It's a valid question," Ethan said, winking at the girl. "But I think that depends on your mom." After breakfast, while Lily watched cartoons, Selena and Ethan sat on the small balcony overlooking the building's inner courtyard. The morning sun filtered through the leaves of a lone tree, creating dancing patterns on their faces. "Why are you doing this?" Selena asked softly. "Because when I talk to you, I feel like my life makes sense again." "That's a lot of pressure for one person." "It's not pressure. It's hope." They fell silent, listening to the voices of children playing in the courtyard and the distant murmur of traffic. It was a comfortable silence, full of things neither of them knew how to say. "My ex used to tell me I was too ambitious," Selena confessed suddenly. "That I should settle for working at the daycare and that's it." "Your ex was an idiot." "Maybe he was right. Maybe I'm dreaming too big." Ethan turned to her, his expression serious. "Do you know what my mother told her students on the first day of class?" Selena shook her head. She told them, "You're not here to learn to read. You're here to learn to fly with words." She never lowered her expectations for anyone. "But this is different. This is real, not a fairy tale." "Fairy tales exist, Selena. Sometimes they just need a little help to begin." Over the next few weeks, they established a routine without consciously planning it. Ethan arrived on Saturday mornings with coffee and pastries from a bakery near his office. They sat studying while Lily played or drew on the floor. He helped her with more complex concepts, explaining educational theories with a patience that surprised her. He had a way of simplifying ideas without making them less profound, as if he had inherited his mother's gift for teaching. "Why do you know so much about pedagogy?" she asked him one day, while reviewing an essay on learning psychology. "My mother used to make me her guinea pig. She'd try all her new techniques on me first." "And did they work?" "Well, I learned to read at 4 and graduated university with honors, so I guess so." Presumptuous. Realistic. On Sundays, they walked in the park with Lily, who had adopted Ethan as her new favorite person. He bought her cotton candy and pushed her on the swings, while Selena watched them from a bench, feeling something warm and dangerous growing in her chest. "What are you thinking about?" he asked her one afternoon, sitting beside her after chasing Lily for 20 minutes on the playground. "That this feels too perfect? And is that bad? Perfect things break. Or maybe broken things become perfect when they find the right pieces." Lily ran up, her cheeks red from exercise. "Mommy, Ethan says he's going to teach me how to fly a kite." "Really?" "Gentleman's promise," he said, raising his right hand solemnly. That night, after Lily fell asleep, Selena and Ethan stayed on the couch reviewing notes. Their bodies had gradually moved closer until their shoulders touched. Neither of them moved to create distance. "Thank you," she whispered, without looking up from the book. "For what?" "For everything. For the books. For the course. For making me feel like my dreams matter." "Your dreams always mattered, Selena. You just needed someone to remind you." She looked up then, and found him looking at her with an intensity that made her tremble. Their faces were inches apart. The air crackled with unspoken words, a silent question hanging between them. A crossroads of fear and hope, Selena woke up that morning with a strange feeling in her stomach, as if she had swallowed glass butterflies. For the past 3 weeks, Ethan had become part of her daily routine. Good morning texts, calls during lunch, impromptu dinners in her tiny dining room. But now, standing in front of the bathroom mirror, she wondered if she was losing control of her own life. "Mommy, is Ethan coming today?" Lily asked from bed, disheveled and still sleepy-eyed. "I don't know, honey, but it's Saturday. He always comes on Saturdays." And it was true. Saturdays had become Ethan's territory, with his aromatic coffees and his patient explanations of educational theories. Selena had started to depend on those moments, to wait for them with an anxiety that frightened her. As she prepared breakfast, her phone vibrated. A message from him. "Good morning, beautiful. See you in an hour?" Her fingers hovered over the keyboard. Beautiful. The word made her feel dizzy and terrified in equal measure. "I need to study alone today," she finally wrote. "See you soon." The reply came immediately. "Of course. Have a good day." No emoji, no insistence. And for some reason, that made her feel worse. Lily protested throughout breakfast, asking every 5 minutes when Ethan would come. Selena tried to explain that sometimes people need space. But how to explain something to a 5-year-old that she herself didn't fully understand? The apartment felt strangely empty without his presence, filling the spaces with his deep laugh and stories about his childhood. Selena tried to concentrate on her books, but the pages blurred before her eyes. "Are you mad at Ethan?" Lily asked during lunch, thoughtfully chewing a jelly sandwich. "No, my love. I just need to think." "Think about what?" "Adult things." Lily frowned, dissatisfied with the answer. "I like him. He's fun, and he smells good, like cinnamon cookies." Selena felt a pang in her chest. Lily was growing fond of Ethan, and that terrified her more than her own feelings. In the afternoon, while Lily took her nap, Selena called her best friend, Chloe. "You sound weird," Chloe said without preamble. "What's wrong?" "I think I'm falling in love." "Finally! With the rich guy who helps you with your studies." "That one. And what's the problem?" "From what you've told me, he sounds perfect." "That's precisely the problem. He's too perfect, Chloe. He's smart, generous, patient with Lily. He treats me like a queen." "Sounds awful," Chloe said sarcastically. "Poor you, having a man who respects and supports you." "You don't understand. I come from a completely different world than his. He can buy whatever he wants, and I count every penny to make ends meet. And what does that matter if he doesn't make you feel it?" "But what if someday it does matter? What if he gets tired of playing the saint? What if Lily gets used to him, and then he leaves?" Chloe sighed on the other end of the line. "Selena, fear isn't going to protect you from pain. It's just going to stop you from being happy." Easy for me to say. Hard to live, I know. But that man is giving you a chance. Give yourself a chance to take it. That night, after putting Lily to bed, Selena sat on her balcony with a cup of tea, observing the lights of the neighboring apartments. Each illuminated window represented a life, a story, dreams and fears as complex as her own. Her phone rang. "Ethan." "Hello?" she replied cautiously. "How was your study day?" "Productive. I'm glad to hear it." He paused. "Is everything okay? I feel like there's something different in your voice." Selena closed her eyes. Could she lie to him? Say everything was perfect? Continue with the comfortable routine they had established? Or could she be honest? "I'm scared," she finally admitted. "Of what?" "Of this. Of us. Of what's happening." "Do you want to talk in person?" "No, I need to say it now before I lose my courage." She took a deep breath. "This is going too fast for me, Ethan. I'm not used to someone taking care of me. I don't know if I can trust that this is real." Silence stretched between them like a fragile bridge. "I understand," he finally said softly. "What do you need?" "Time, space to think." "You have all the time you need. You're not going to try to convince me otherwise?" "Selena, if I've learned anything in these months with you, it's that you're an incredibly intelligent woman. I trust your judgment, even if it means stepping away." The tears she had been holding back finally flowed. "I don't want to hurt you." "You're not hurting me. You're being honest, which is exactly what I need from you. And what if I decide this is too complicated? Then I'll respect your decision and wish you all the happiness in the world." "That easy?" "That difficult," he corrected, "but that necessary." A revelation and a leap of faith. The following days felt like walking through an emotional desert. Ethan didn't contact her, respecting the space she had asked for. Lily constantly asked about him, and each question was like a needle in Selena's heart. On Tuesday night, while helping Lily with a drawing, the girl suddenly stopped coloring. "Mommy, did you do something bad?" "Why do you ask that, my love?" "Because Ethan isn't coming anymore, and you're sad all the time." Selena sat on the floor next to her daughter, taking her small hands in hers. "Sometimes, adults need time to understand their feelings. Like when I hide under the bed when I'm mad? Something like that. But then you always come out and give me hugs." "Yes, Ethan will also come out and give you hugs." Selena felt something break inside her. "I don't know, honey. I hope so. I like it when you really smile." That night, Selena stayed awake late, tossing and turning in bed like a caged animal. She got up 3 times to write a message to Ethan, and 3 times she deleted the words before sending them. On Friday, Chloe showed up unannounced with a bottle of wine and a determined expression. "Intervention," she announced, planting herself in the living room. "You're going to tell me exactly what's going on in that head of yours." "There's nothing to tell." "Selena Hayes, I've known you since we were 15. You're head over heels in love and terrified to admit it. What if I'm wrong? What if he realizes he can do better? What if he doesn't? What if it turns out you deserve all the happiness in the world?" Chloe poured 2 glasses of wine and sat across from her. "Do you know what your problem is? That you think love has to hurt to be real? It's not that. No? Then explain to me why you're sabotaging the best thing that's happened to you since Lily was born." Selena took a sip of wine, feeling the warmth spread through her chest. "Because I'm afraid of needing him." "And what's wrong with needing someone? That when they leave you empty, or when they stay, they make you whole." On Saturday morning, Selena decided to go to the hospital, where Ethan had mentioned visiting his former teacher. She needed to see him, talk to him, clear the chaos in her heart. She arrived at the main building and asked at reception for the neurology unit. She went up to the 3rd floor, her heart pounding like a war drum. When she turned the corner of the hallway, she stopped dead. Ethan was standing by a door, embracing an elderly woman with silver hair. The woman was crying silently against his chest, and he was stroking her back with a tenderness that took Selena's breath away. Selena remained motionless in the hospital corridor, watching the scene unfold before her eyes, as if it were a slow-motion film. The elderly woman's face was furrowed with wrinkles that spoke of decades of smiles and tears, and her hands trembled as she clung to Ethan's shirt. "She didn't recognize me today," the woman whispered, her voice cracking. "For the first time in 3 years, she looked at me like I was a stranger." Ethan rocked her gently, as if she were a frightened child. "It's okay, Professor Evans. Memories come and go, but love stays here," he said, touching the woman's chest over her heart. "How can you be so patient with me? I'm not even your family." "You taught me to read, Professor. You taught me that words can change the world. You're more family to me than many people who share my blood." Selena felt something unraveling inside her chest, like ice exposed to the sun. This man who had treated her with such gentleness was not an exception in his life. He was simply who he was. Professor Evans slowly separated from Ethan, wiping her cheeks with a crumpled tissue. "You should go. Your girlfriend must be waiting for you." "I don't have a girlfriend, Professor. What happened to that pretty girl you described to me? The one with the smile that made you remember why it's worth waking up every morning?" Ethan lowered his head, and Selina could see the sadness emanating from him like ripples in water. "She got scared, and I let her go because sometimes loving means giving space, even if it hurts." "Oh, my son," sighed the professor. "Fear is a silent thief. It steals the best moments if we let it. She has reasons to be afraid." "And you don't?" Ethan looked up, surprised by the question. "I'm terrified too," Professor Evans continued. "Terrified that one day I'll wake up and won't remember your name, or your face, or all the afternoons we've shared here. But that doesn't stop me from enjoying this moment with you." Selina took a step forward without realizing it, and the floor creaked under her foot. Ethan turned instantly, and his eyes met hers across the hallway. Time stopped. The hospital's bustle faded into a distant murmur. Only the two of them existed, separated by meters of white linoleum, but united by something stronger than distance. "Selina," he whispered, as if her name were a prayer. She walked towards them with hesitant steps, feeling that each meter brought her not only closer to him, but to a version of herself she had been hiding. "Sorry to interrupt," she said when she reached them. "Don't interrupt anything, dear," Professor Evans replied, studying Selina with sharp eyes that seemed to see beyond appearances. "You must be the girl with the smile." Selina blushed, glancing at Ethan. "Professor Evans, this is Selina. Selina, my former teacher, Professor Evans." "A pleasure to meet you," Selina said, extending her hand. Professor Evans took it in hers, surprisingly warm and firm. "The pleasure is mine, dear. This young man hasn't stopped talking about you." "Really? He told me you're a teacher too, or that you're going to be." "I'm studying for that, yes." "Teaching is an act of faith," Professor Evans said solemnly. "Faith that the seeds you plant today will bloom in gardens you may never see. It's beautiful to think of it that way. Can I ask you something, dear?" Selina nodded. "Why are you afraid of this man who looks at you as if you're the answer to all the questions he didn't know he had?" The question hit her like a gentle slap. Selina looked at Ethan, who was watching her with a vulnerability that completely disarmed her. "Because I'm not used to someone really seeing me," she admitted in a trembling voice. "And isn't that exactly what you need?" Before Selina could answer, a nurse discreetly approached. "Professor Evans, it's time for your medication." The elderly woman nodded and turned to Ethan. "Walk with me to my room, will you?" Ethan looked at Selina with uncertainty. "Go," she said softly. "I'll wait here." As she watched them walk away down the hall, Selina sat in one of the orange plastic chairs that seemed designed for discomfort. Her hands trembled slightly, and she didn't know if it was from nerves or the hospital cafeteria. 15 minutes later, Ethan returned, walking slowly, as if each step were a conscious decision. "How is she?" Selina asked when he sat beside her. "Some days better than others. Today was a difficult day. Have you been visiting her long?" "Since my mother died, Professor Evans was the one who helped me deal with the pain. Ironically, now I'm the one trying to help her with hers." Selina studied his profile, the way his hands intertwined nervously, the way his breathing had become uneven. "Why did you come?" he asked without looking at her. "Because I realized I was running away from the best thing that's happened to me in years." Ethan turned his head towards her, and Selina could see hope dancing in his eyes like small flames. "And now what?" Now I want to be brave. What does that mean? Selena took a deep breath, gathering courage from the hidden corners of her soul. It means I want to try. With you, with this, with us. Are you sure? No, she answered honestly, but I'm sure it's worth the risk. Ethan took her hand, intertwining their fingers with a delicacy that contrasted with the intensity of their emotions. I'm scared too, you know. Of what? Of not being enough for you. Of you realizing you deserve something better. Ethan, no, let me say it. His voice grew firmer. For months, I've felt like my life was on pause after my mother's death, like I was waiting for something without knowing what. And then you appeared, with your brutal honesty and your way of making everything seem possible again. I feel the same way. Really? Since I met you, I feel like I've been living in black and white, and suddenly everything has color. Ethan leaned closer, until their faces were inches apart. Can I kiss you? I thought you'd never ask. The kiss was soft at first, tentative, as if both were wondering if it was real. But then it deepened, filling with all the unspoken words, all the fears they had faced, all the hope they had been carrying separately. When they finally broke apart, both were breathing heavily. Does this mean you're going to give me a chance? He murmured against her forehead. This means we're going to give ourselves a chance. They stayed like that, embraced in the uncomfortable hospital chairs, feeling that the world had finally found its proper axis. Do you want to come home? Selena eventually asked. Lily has missed you terribly. I'd love to. As they walked towards the elevator, Selena felt that something had fundamentally changed in her. It wasn't that she had stopped being afraid, but that she had decided that love was stronger than terror. The elevator doors opened, and just before entering, Ethan stopped her. Selena, there's something I need to tell you. What? I love you. The words floated between them like petals in the wind. Selena felt her heart expand to fill her entire chest. I love you too. They entered the elevator holding hands, but just as the doors were about to close, Selena's phone rang. It was from the university. A call that would change everything again. A future calling. Love and dreams intertwined. The phone vibrated in Selena's hand like an electronic heart. The name on the screen made her blink twice. National University, admissions. Are you going to answer? Ethan asked, noticing how she had frozen. Selena slid her finger across the screen with trembling hands. Hello? Miss Selena Hayes? Yes, that's me. This is Dr. Patricia Mills, coordinator of the Master's Program in Education. I have excellent news. The elevator reached the first floor with a soft ding, but Selena didn't move. Ethan pressed the button to keep the doors open. Your academic record has been reviewed and approved. We congratulate you on being selected for our Academic Excellence Scholarship. Selena felt her knees turn to jelly. Scholarship? Yes, miss. It covers the entirety of the tuition, plus a monthly stipend for living expenses. The program starts in 3 weeks. 3 weeks? I know it's short notice, but we had a last-minute cancellation. The spot is yours if you want it. Ethan watched her with a mixture of pride and something that looked like contained panic. Can I think about it? Of course, but we need an answer by Friday. It's the only spot available for this cycle. I understand. Thank you for the opportunity. You're welcome, Miss Hayes. We await your response. Selena hung up and stared at the phone as if it were an alien object. What happened? Ethan asked softly. They gave me the scholarship, the master's, all paid for. Selena, that's incredible! But when she looked up, he saw tears accumulating in her eyes. What's the problem? The university is in Portland. The words fell between them like stones in a calm pond. Ethan remained silent for several seconds, processing the information. How long is the program? 2 years. 2 years, he repeated, as if testing the taste of the words. They left the hospital in silence, each lost in their own thoughts. The afternoon sun painted the streets gold, but neither of them noticed the beauty of the moment. "Let's take Lily for ice cream," Ethan said suddenly. "We can talk later." At the apartment, Lily greeted them as if they had returned from a months-long journey. She hung around Ethan's neck so tightly that he almost lost his balance. "Ethan, I thought you weren't coming back." "I'll always come back, little one." The words echoed in the air as both a promise and a question. They went to the park's ice cream parlor, where Lily ordered 3 different flavors and proceeded to recount every detail of what she had done during the week. Ethan listened with genuine attention, asking questions that made her laugh until her stomach hurt. Selena observed them from a certain emotional distance, memorizing every gesture, every smile, as if she would need those memories later. "Mommy, why are you so quiet?" Lily eventually asked. "I'm just thinking, my love. About good things or bad things? Complicated things." That night, after putting Lily to bed, Selena and Ethan sat on the balcony with 2 cups of tea that grew cold, without either of them touching them. "You have to go," he finally said. "How can you say that so easily?" "Because I love you. That's exactly why I can't leave." Ethan turned to her, taking her hands in his. "Selena, this is everything you've dreamed of. A master's degree at the best university in the country, with a full scholarship. It's your chance to become who you always wanted to be. And what about us? We'll be okay. How can you be so sure? Because what we have is real, and real things survive distance." Selena pulled her hands away, standing to walk to the balcony railing. "Do you know how many relationships survive 2 years of separation? Very few. Do you know how many opportunities like this you'll have in life? Maybe none. But Lily will be proud to have a mom who followed her dreams. Lily needs stability. Lily needs you, happy and fulfilled." Selena turned to him, tears streaming down her cheeks. "Why do you have to be so understanding? Why can't you be selfish and ask me to stay?" Ethan stood and walked towards her, wrapping his arms around her. "Because if I ask you to stay, you'll always wonder what would have happened if you'd left. And that 'what if' will grow between us until it separates us anyway. I'm scared." "Me too." "What are you scared of?" "That you'll find something better in Portland. Someone smarter, more interesting, more appropriate for you." "That's ridiculous. Isn't your fear of me forgetting about you also ridiculous?" They stayed embraced in silence, feeling the weight of the decision that separated them. "What if it doesn't work?" Selena whispered. "What if it does work? Will you visit me?" "Every weekend I can." "And what if you meet someone else while I'm away?" "Selena, look at me." She looked up at him. "I could meet 1,000 women, and none of them would be you. None of them would make me feel like the world makes sense again. I love you so much, it hurts." "Then imagine how much it would hurt me to know you passed up this opportunity because of me." Friday arrived like a bullet. Selena had spent the days swinging between excitement and terror, making mental lists of pros and cons that never reached a definitive conclusion. Lily found her sitting on the bed, looking at the acceptance forms. "Are we moving?" she asked in a small voice. "Maybe. Is Ethan coming with us?" "No, my love. Ethan has to stay here." Lily climbed onto the bed and snuggled against her mother. "Are we going to see him again?" "I hope so." "Do you want to go?" Selena hugged her daughter, breathing in the scent of baby shampoo from her hair. "Part of me does want to go. It's a great opportunity for our future." "And the other part?" "The other part wants to stay here with you and Ethan forever." "Which part will win?" "I don't know yet." That afternoon, Ethan arrived with a surprise: tickets to the circus that was in town. "I thought we deserved a special farewell," he said, no matter what your decision is. At the circus, Lily screamed with excitement at every act. The clowns made her laugh until her cheeks hurt, and the acrobats left her with her mouth agape in wonder. But during the trapeze artist's performance, Selena couldn't help but see a metaphor in their movements. The way they let go of one bar to reach for the other. That moment of emptiness in the air where nothing held them except faith. After the circus, they went for pizza, and Lily fell asleep on Ethan's lap before dessert arrived. "It's a beautiful picture," Selena said, looking at them. "I'm going to miss this. This, feeling like a family." Selena felt her heart break into small pieces. "Ethan, shh, don't say anything. Just let's stay like this a moment longer." When they arrived at the apartment, Ethan helped put Lily to bed, who mumbled, "Good night, Daddy Ethan," before falling completely into sleep. The words hit them like lightning. In the living room, they sat facing each other, the decision hovering between them like a ghost. "I'm going to accept the scholarship," Selena finally said. Ethan closed his eyes and nodded slowly. "It's the right decision." "Do you hate me?" "I love you, and because I love you, I'm going to let you go." He walked over to her and pulled an envelope from his jacket. "What's this? Read it when you get to Portland, not before. The unfolding future. A love that finds its way." 6 months later, Selena walked through the halls of National University in Portland with confident steps, carrying a folder full of corrected essays. The semester had been intense, challenging, exactly what she had expected. Her professors respected her, her classmates admired her, and Lily had adapted to her new school as if she were born for the Oregon mountains. But every night, before bed, she would take out the envelope Ethan had given her. She had read it so many times that she knew the words by heart, but she still needed to touch the paper to feel that the connection between them was real. "Where I never dared to look, I found you," the note said in his careful handwriting. And inside the envelope, wrapped in tissue paper, was the necklace that had belonged to his mother. A delicate gold chain with a small heart that shone like a silent promise. She had worn it every day since her arrival in Portland. Lily ran into the room, interrupting her thoughts. "Mommy, can I call Ethan? I want to tell him about my science fair project." "Of course, my love." Their weekly video calls had become the most sacred ritual of their lives. Ethan had never missed one, no matter where he was or how busy his day was. Lily showed him her drawings, read him her homework, told him about her new friends with the enthusiasm of a tiny reporter. And then, when Lily went to sleep, Selena and Ethan would chat late into the night, sharing the mundane details of their days that, somehow, felt extraordinary when they told each other. "How's your thesis going?" he asked her during one of those late-night conversations. "Complex, frustrating, fascinating, exactly how it should be." "What's it about?" "Teaching methods for children in socially vulnerable situations. How education can be a tool for real transformation. Sounds like something that would change the world." "That's the idea." But as they spoke, Selena couldn't help but notice the lines of fatigue around his eyes, the way his smile seemed to require more effort lately. "Are you okay?" she asked one night. "I'm fine, just busy." "Sure? I miss you," he finally admitted. "Every day, every hour. Sometimes I feel like I'm living someone else's life. I miss you too. Don't you regret it? Coming here?" "No, but I regret that you can't be here with me." "Someday," he murmured. "Someday what?" "Someday we'll find a way." The day of her final presentation arrived like an awaited storm. Selena had worked for months on her research proposal, refining every argument, polishing every word until it shone. The auditorium was full of professors, graduate students, and special guests. Selena stood in front of the microphone, took a deep breath, and began to speak about education as a tool for social justice. Her words flowed like water, passionate but controlled, academic but accessible. She spoke about children growing up in forgotten neighborhoods, about teachers working miracles with minimal resources, about the university's responsibility to give back to the community what it had received. As she progressed through her presentation, she felt something had changed in the atmosphere. Professors leaned forward. Students had stopped taking notes to listen completely. Education, she concluded, is not just the transmission of knowledge. It is an act of faith in the future. It is betting on the infinite capacity for transformation that lives within every human being. The applause was immediate and sustained. Selena felt warmth rise in her chest, a mix of relief and pride that made her glow from within. After answering the jury's questions, she headed towards the exit of the auditorium, exhausted but euphoric. It had been perfect, better than perfect. "Excuse me, Miss Hayes." She turned to find an elegant, middle-aged woman approaching with a kind smile. "I'm Dr. Evelyn Stone, Director of the Horizon Education Foundation. Could we talk for a moment?" "Of course. Your presentation was exceptional. We'd like to offer you a position in our educational research program. It's an ambitious project that seeks to implement new methodologies in rural communities across the country." Selena blinked, processing the information. "A position? You would coordinate teams in different regions, develop curricula, supervise implementation. You'd be based in Seattle, but you'd travel constantly." "Sounds incredible." "It is, and we believe you would be perfect to lead this initiative." "Can I think about it?" "Of course. Here's my card. We await your response." Selena walked back to her apartment in a state of shock. A job offer in Seattle, only 4 hours from where Ethan lived. It was as if the universe had decided to conspire in her favor. That night, after putting Lily to bed, she dialed Ethan's number with trembling hands. "How did it go?" he asked before she could speak. "Incredible. Better than I expected. I knew you'd be extraordinary." "Ethan, they offered me a job." "In Portland?" "In Seattle." Silence. Selena could hear his accelerated breathing through the phone. "Seattle?" "Yes, an education foundation. It would make everything I've been studying have a real impact in communities that need it." That's perfect for you. And it's 4 hours from you." "Selena, I know it's complicated. I know we haven't talked about what happens after you finish your master's, but I want to try. I want to see if we can make this work." "Are you sure?" "I'm sure I love you. I'm sure Lily loves you. I'm sure I want to build something with you." "I want that too." Then accept the job, and we'll move to Seattle together." "We?" "If you want me there, yes. I can work from anywhere. The company has offices in Seattle." Selena felt tears of happiness streaming down her cheeks. "You'd do that for me?" "I'd do anything for you, for us." A new beginning and a forever promise. 3 months later, Selena stood in the auditorium of Evergreen University in Seattle, about to give her first conference as a principal researcher for the Horizon Foundation. The topic was transformative pedagogy, education as a tool for social change. As she reviewed her notes one last time, she scanned the audience and felt her heart stop. In the 5th row, dressed in a gray suit and smiling as if he had just won the lottery, was Ethan. Their eyes met across the auditorium, and he discreetly raised a hand to wave. Selena felt her entire being fill with light. He had arrived. Without warning her, without making a sound, he had simply appeared to support her in one of the most important moments of her career. Throughout the conference, she felt his presence as an anchor, as a source of energy that made her speak with more passion, with more conviction. She spoke about communities transformed by education, about children who had found their voice through learning, about teachers changing the world one lesson at a time. When she finished, the applause was deafening. Selena smiled at the audience, but her eyes immediately sought Ethan. He had risen from his seat and was walking towards the stage with something in his hands. The auditorium gradually fell silent as they watched him approach the microphone. Selena watched him, not understanding what was happening. Ethan took the microphone with slightly trembling hands. "Excuse the interruption," he said, his clear voice echoing throughout the auditorium. "But there's something I need to tell this extraordinary woman." Selena felt the world stop. "Selena Hayes," he continued, turning to her. "You taught me that love isn't possession, but liberation. You taught me that when you truly love someone, you let them fly so they can become who they are meant to be." He moved closer, standing directly in front of her. "And now, I want to ask you something." He knelt before her, not with a ring, but with an envelope identical to the one he had given her months ago. "And what if I follow you now?" And so ends our love story. You're left with your heart pounding like an emotional roller coaster. Now it's your turn to be part of this community of hopeless romantics. Tell us in the comments, from what corner of the world are you reading us? We want to build the world map of romance. How were you when you read this story? Curled up in bed with coffee? On public transport pretending to work? Procrastinating that important task? Question of the day. If you were Selena, would you have accepted the scholarship from the first moment? Or would you also have debated between love and dreams? Like this, if Ethan captivated you as much as he did Selena. Comment if you want more stories that make you sigh. Share if you know someone who needs to believe in love again.